So I'm on page 175, but I think at the beginning of the year, we did like a Mad Lib. Do you guys remember that? I don't know if we did in this class. Have you heard of Mad Lib before? It's basically like a word game where you come up with a list of words and then you plug your words in a story, and then the story is like crazy because it doesn't really make sense. And that's what this is basically. So what you're going to do is write a list of words, and then there's a story later, a few pages later, that we'll plug in the words for and see how it turns out. So you're going to each write your own words here. So all three of you are going to have a different list. Just a quick little refresher, because I know you guys know these from doing this book. An adjective, that would be a word to describe. It could be, size, color, or it could be like a descriptive word like beautiful or ugly or strange. So that word, whatever word you pick, you can put it here. And then you've got a noun, it tells you a place. So this could be home, it could be the Dodger Stadium, it could be Disneyland or Paris or some place, any place, grandma's house. An action verb, and you're going to keep these present tense. So like run, jump, those are the simple ones, but you could do travel, any kind of action word. So go ahead and start making your list. And then if you come across one that you can't remember or you forgot about, just let me know and I'll help you come up with a word. But you're just going to look at the clue here and write a word on each of these so you can make it up yourself, whatever words you pick. So do you know what to do, Bronx? You got it, Bronx, or do you need some help?
Oh, I got it.
Okay. So go ahead and work on filling it in. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that. Did you finish it, Paisley? Are you still working on it? Okay. Before I forget, Bronx, I sent your mom an email. I don't know if she got it or not, but just if you could let her know, I sent her an email yesterday or the other day.
Okay.
Thank you. Same with your mom, Paisley. I think I texted her and told her that. Give me a thumbs up when you guys are done so I know you're ready. Okay, cool. You almost done, Bronx? Which one are you on?
I'm on an adjective. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 left.
Oh, okay, right here. Okay, cool. How about you, Paisley? Where are you at?
I have about the same.
Okay. Go ahead and finish up then and we'll wait for you guys. Let me know if you need any help with any of them. This one here that says time period, that would be like morning, afternoon, evening, midnight, or like spring, fall, summer, something like that. Okay, I think what I'll do, I know you guys are still finishing up. You probably just have a couple left. Abby, do you feel like doing the story? I'll read the story, or you can read it and just flip back and forth and plug the word in. Or the other way is for me to read it and I'll just pause and you tell me the word you have. Either way. You don't care? Do you want to do that though?
Sure.
Okay. I think it'll be fun. We'll see what it is.
Okay.
So, how about you just read the whole thing?
Okay.
Then you could just flip back and forth for your words that you have there.
Okay. Do you want me to read Maid Marian by
Yeah.
myself?
Okay. Yeah.
Maid Marian by Abby. Maid Marian, who was very green, lived in an Eiffel Tower under the protection of King Richard. He had left the country to sprint in battle. While the king was away, John, his fearless brother, tripped the land. Because John surprisingly taxed the peasants, Maid Marian was massive. She wanted Robin Hood's cat. One afternoon, Maid Marian ventured into Universal Studios looking for Robin Hood. She said to him, town's sheriff has become feistily rich by taxing the peasants. He has taken their birds and trains. Tuesday, he will ride through the forest on a turtle to protect a wagon load of stolen goods. Courageously make him return to the poor. Robin Hood shouted, "You are as small as you are joyful. I will follow your plan." In this way, Maid Marian helped Robin Hood and his men return to the upset poor that was frightfully taken from them. When King Richard later returned from the wars, he happily peace because Robin Hood was no longer an outlaw. He made Marian.
I wonder if you messed up right there because it was an action.
Oh, I did. Thank you.
Okay.
I was like, that doesn't make sense. When King Richard later returned from the wars, he sang peace.
Oh, there you go.
Robin Hood was no longer an outlaw. He made Marian happily were married. They served hamburgers at the delicious wedding feast and all had a merry time.
I love it. I love that he wrote on the back of a turtle. That's awesome. That's funny. Very good. I like it. All right. Did you guys get to finish Paisley and Bronx? Yeah. I don't know what happened to Bronx. Paisley, do you want to read yours? Okay, good. You're muted. Do you want to read it by yourself or you want me to read it and you plug in the words?
I don't know. I don't really care.
You don't really care? Okay. You can read it by yourself then. It's on page 181. So you just would like flip back and forth, or maybe even like, is that what you did, Abby? Kind of fold it like that so you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of fold your page and then you can read your list.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. Are you reading it yet? We're on mute. Or do you want Bronx to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Bronx, are you ready?
What was that?
Are you ready to read yours?
Yes.
I mean, it is optional. If you guys don't want to read it, that's okay. But it'd be fun.
All right, so what happened was I thought I grabbed the one that's not my teacher's manual, but I grabbed that one on accident, and I can't find my other book, which has that page.
Okay, so you don't have
but I did write all the stuff on here.
You did. Okay, so I could read it, and then every time I pause, you just read the word, and then you move your finger down. You want to try that? Okay.
Sure.
So, okay, Maid Marian by Bronx. Okay. Maid Marian, who was very
beautiful,
lived in
Ohio.
Under the protection of King Richard. He had left the country to
run
in battle. While the king was away, John, his
ugly
brother,
ran
the land because John
gratefully
taxed the peasants. Maid Marian was
cool.
She wanted Robin Hood's man. By the way, in my class, you probably heard in your sister's class, somebody said Ohio, like for every noun. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's funny that you picked Ohio
yeah,
too.
I did a little bit.
Okay, One,
This
is a time period one.
morning,
Maid Marian ventured into the
home,
looking for Robin Hood. She said to him, John's sheriff has become
tool.
Is it an ly adverb?
Oh, gladly.
Gladly rich by taxing the peasants. He has taken their, is this one tool?
Tools,
And
boxes,
boxes. Tuesday, he will ride through the forest on a,
bear,
oh, nice, to protect a wagon load of stolen goods. Here's an ly adverb.
sadly,
Sadly, make him return them to the poor. Robin Hood,
come.
is it a speaking verb?
Yeah, come.
Come. Oh, this is like shouted or whispered or something like that. You are,
Yeah.
okay, what's your adjective? You are as,
Oh my. Crazy,
as you are,
nice,
I will follow your plan. In this way, Maid Marian helped Robin and his men return to the
strongly,
poor that was, oh, that's the ly word. You probably are on the wrong spot. Strongly taken from them. There you go. How about, okay, coming up on the action verb past tense. So when King Richard later returned from the wars, he
talked,
peace. All right. Because Robin Hood was no longer an outlaw, he and Maid Marian
crazily,
crazily were married. They served, what food do you have there?
pizza,
Pizza at the
restaurant.
Restaurant
Yeah.
wedding, the restaurant wedding feast. All right. And all had a merry time. There you go. Good job, Bronx. Oh my goodness. These are crazy. Paisley, do you want to do yours?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
You read it and I plug them in.
Perfect. All right. So Maid Marian by Paisley. Maid Marian, who was very,
Ugly.
lived in a
Tree.
tree. Oh, nice. Under the protection of King Richard. He had left the country to
Run.
run in battle. While the king was away, John, his
Pretty.
pretty brother. And then what's your action verb?
Ran.
Ran the land. Because John
Happily.
taxed the peasants, Maid Marian was
Kind.
kind. She wanted Robin Hood's
To have to be.
Robin Hood's tragedy. Good one. One and then time period here.
Morning.
Maid Marian ventured into the
Bass Lake.
Bass Lake looking for Robin Hood. She said to him, John's sheriff has become
Madly.
madly rich by taxing the peasants. He has taken their
Car.
and
Ball. No.
ball.
Uh-huh.
Tuesday, he will ride through the forest on a
Dog.
to protect a wagon load of stolen goods. Oh, I
Excitingly.
excitingly make him run. Wait, excitingly make him return them to the poor. Robin Hood,
Laughed.
you are as
Beautiful.
you are.
Upset.
You are as beautiful as you are upset. I love it. I will follow your plan. In this way, Maid Marian helped Robin and his men return to the,
Sadly, wait, maybe I'm the wrong one.
right above sadly, probably. Adjective.
Upset was what I had. Oh, I think I forgot to fill out the 2 because there was 2 in a row.
Oh, that's okay. To the upset or that was sadly was
Sad.
taken from them. When King Richard later returned from the wars, he
Sat.
peace. Because Robin was no longer an outlaw, he and Maid Marian
Happily.
were married. They served
Tacos.
tacos at the
Weird.
wedding feast and all had a merry time. Ah, that's a good one. I love these. All right, good job, you guys. We're gonna kind of go through this. Let's see what time we got. Ooh, yeah. I think we're gonna have to skip this page, actually, looking at the time, because we had too much fun doing that. Maybe we'll come back to it at the end of class if we have time, but your homework will be just these last 4 pages here. And then you're done with the book. So there was no real new lesson. So just go ahead and finish up the book this week for your homework. And then let's go on, because I do want to leave time for your report or your research paper, because you guys were working on your outlines for your famous people. Let me see. Let me look back on my notes here. Abby's writing about Selena. Paisley's writing about Dorothy Killigan, right?
Kilgallen.
Kilgallen. I don't know who that is. Kilgallen. Okay. And then Bronx is Kobe Bryant. And were you guys able to finish your outlines this week? Abby says yes. Did you finish yours, Bronx? And Paisley, did you get yours finished too? Okay, good. Yay. So you were able to look at your sources, number your sources, and you came up with your big outline, which is the 3 sources, and then you're fused. So now you're at the point where you should have 2 fused outlines. Is that what you guys have? Give me a thumbs up if you have 2 fused outlines. Good. Excellent. Yay. Kinda, Paisley. Okay. Are you still working on yours? Okay. That's okay. I know it was a lot. And we kind of had to blast through this last part so you can get this part done. So today, you're super familiar with using keyword outlines to write your paragraph. So you're all set as far as that goes. And then, of course, we need to take a look at the checklist just to make sure you guys have that in mind as you're writing your research papers. I do recommend typing. I know a couple of you really prefer handwriting it, but typing is going to be good practice for you guys. And it really helps to change things and move things around. Bronx, do you have a question about that?
So we weren't supposed to write our stories.
Just the fused outlines was your homework.
Oh.
Let me double check. Is that what you did, Abby?
I wrote a story.
You did. Well, then you're ahead. Let me go back. Yeah, I think that. What did you do, Abby?
I just did the outlines.
Yeah, okay. I had to go back and look because now you're making me wonder. Let me see. Yeah, just outlines, Bronx. So you're ahead of the game. But did you do your outlines and your story too? Or your.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, but I don't mind being ahead.
I know, right? That's kind of a nice feeling. That's pretty good. How about you, Paisley? You're still working on your outlines, right? Your 2 outlines. Okay. So we're all in different places. That's okay. Did you remember to use your checklist, Bronx? That was a lot of work you did. Okay, good. You did use the checklist. Let's just look at this together really quick. And it's not required for you to type it. I just recommend that because it's going to be easier for you to edit. So, and as you guys are getting ready to head into high school, you know, that'll be something that will be helpful to you if you learn how to type. There's lots of online kind of like games you can play with the keyboard to help you remember where letters and numbers are on the keyboard. It is very tedious to learn it, but once you do, I'm telling you, you're going to be so glad you did because it makes everything go faster and then a lot easier to edit for sure. So obviously this is pretty much the same up here on the checklist. Don't forget your topic clincher sentences. So I'll just have you double check yours, Bronx, and make sure you have your keywords highlighted or bolded for your topic and clincher words for each paragraph. You got to make sure you include that. And then it should have a title, something more than just the name of your person you're writing about. Try to come up with something clever. And remember, the title rule repeats in your very last sentence of your report or your research paper should have 1 to 3 keywords that reflect in the title. Okay, so you got to check that. And then of course your 6 dress ups. So we do have all 6 to look for. And then we actually have 1 new sentence opener, which is a prepositional opener. So if you need a refresher on what those are, you can always look back in your grammar book to see what those are. Let me check something really quick here. Because I don't know if we talked about prepositional openers yet, have we? I'm trying to remember. Doesn't feel like we have. Let's see. Back on my notes here. Because I know we skipped a couple of weeks in the book. In your binder on page 137, it's kind of a yellow page, yellowish, kind of cream color. 137. I don't think we went over this yet. 137. Let me show you what it looks like. This page right here, prepositional opener. So go ahead and get that page out. You're going to need that when you're working on your research paper of your famous person. And we'll just kind of go through this kind of quickly right now. Let me take it out of my binder here.
What page?
It's page 137. And it's kind of a light yellow color. 137 says number 2 prepositional opener. So I don't think any of you are taking my summer classes, which is fine. So we're gonna end right here in your binder. Bronx, did you have a question or something to say?
I'm taking your summer class.
You are. I didn't write it on this page here. Let me write this down. Okay, cool. And your sister probably is too, huh? I was looking back on my emails.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, you muted right when your mom was saying
Yeah,
something.
our certificates are goofy.
Oh, you already got the certificates in. Okay, perfect.
They're goofy.
They printed out goofy. Like, they're just goofy. It's weird.
They're goofy. I'll check it. All right, let me make a note. Goofy certificates. Okay. So for Bronx, you're gonna just continue on in your binder. And for Abby and Paisley, if you don't do summer school, that's okay. You guys have a lot of the binder finished, and you can take that with you as far as, you know, what you learned. I had a student recently tell me that they did the state test, and you know how you have your language arts or writing part of the test, and a lot of times they give you an article to read and they want you to respond to that. You can use this. You can do a little keyword outline for the state test too, and use that to write your paragraph, and just think in your head the things you can remember from your dress ups. You got your ly adverbs and your because clause and all of those things that you've been practicing, and you'll do fantastic. This is going to help you so much, even with your state testing. So keep that in mind. Back to this, we have an opener. Did you find it, Paisley, in your binder? Okay, good. So the prepositional opener is the prepositional phrase placed at the beginning of the sentence. This is why I enjoy doing the grammar book with this writing class, because you already know about this and you've already seen how they've done it in the grammar book. So now it's up to you to include it in your writing too. And notice they label it with a to, with a bracket. And if you're typing, there is a little bracket symbol on your keyboard to put right before you start that sentence, okay? And if you're handwriting it, which is okay if you still prefer that, I'm not going to mark you down for that. You can actually just draw the brackets around your to, but you're just going to make sure to label that sentence with a to in front of it, just so that I can see it and then I know easily where it's at. Here's an example: despite, because despite is a preposition. Despite a lengthy childhood sickness, Teddy Roosevelt enjoyed a life of activity and adventure. And here it starts with in, which is also a preposition. In 1901, Teddy Roosevelt became the younger president in the nation's history. So just two examples of how to start a sentence with a prepositional phrase. This is part of what's giving your writing style. So we have the dress up words, which also gives it style, but this is taking it up to the next level. Like, we're leveling up with these, okay? These openers, you'll be amazed. I mean, I remember when I first took this course as an adult, right? But I took it last summer for myself so I could see what it was about. And I looked at my own writing and I was impressed at my own writing. I know it sounds like I'm bragging because I don't mean to brag, but I was like, wow, that really changed a lot. So just know this is, it seems like a small thing, but it really does add a lot to your writing. So you're going to now include a sentence opener like that in each paragraph. And then here there's a little note under notice. A prepositional phrase begins with a preposition, that's obvious, and contains at least two words. A prepositional phrase ends with a noun. We've been studying that in grammar. A prepositional phrase never contains a verb. So the phrase itself does not contain a verb. Obviously, the whole sentence, there's got to be a verb in there, but the phrase itself does not contain a verb. There might be other words between the preposition and the noun, but there is never a verb in a prepositional phrase. To indicate that a sentence begins with a prepositional opener, label it with a to, and it says in the left margin, but I want you to put it right before the sentence. That's where I like it best. If the prepositional phrase has 5 words or more, follow it with a comma. So that's a comma rule that we learned in our grammar book. So make sure you pay attention to that. However long you make your phrase, if it's long, which is fine, you need a comma. If it's short, like just 3 words, you don't need a comma. Like this example up here, despite a lengthy childhood sickness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a comma. In 1901, that's just 2 words, so no comma there. Okay, a comma is optional, but usually not recommended with shorter phrases. And then you have your handy dandy list of prepositions right here for you. And these are words of how you would start your sentence. The very first word should be one of these words. So that's a little mini lesson on prepositional openers that's now on your checklist. Do you have any questions about this? Prepositional openers? Okay. And you know how to label it with a number 2, with a bracket. Since when we keep going, Bronx, in the binder, you're going to add more openers, but this is just the first one. And then, of course, there's always your band words. You want to watch for those as you're writing your research paper. Okay, so remember, checklist, super, 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 super important. And keep this yellow page close to you too when you're writing, so that you can have your list right there. Now, another thing I want to talk about is your bibliography page. Normally, your research paper would be a lot longer than what I'm making you write. You only have to do 2 paragraphs for me. So it's going to be pretty easy, because you don't have to worry about introduction paragraph and conclusion paragraph, and you don't have all this long list of topics. So you're just practicing really the bare bones of the research paper, which is the middle of it. Anyway, you do have 3 sources that you have to cite in your paper. So, do you know about plagiarism? Do you guys know what that means? Okay, good. So that's a really important thing to remember when you're doing research, especially, because it's really easy to accidentally plagiarize. And just a little refresher, it means to take somebody else's words and pretend like they're your words, right? Take somebody else, like information that you read, and the way you write it in your paper, if it sounds like it's your original idea or it's your words, that's plagiarism. Now, in your grade, you don't have to be too concerned about that, because you're just still learning how to take somebody else's words and change it so it's not plagiarism. But in high school, but especially college, if you go on to college, that's a big no-no. Okay, you got to make sure you understand by the time you finish high school how to avoid plagiarism. And sometimes it depends on that college you go to, but some colleges will either just tear your paper up and throw it away and give you a big fat F, or they could go so far as to ask you to leave the college. So I just want you to know it's that serious. Right now, it's not that serious. I'm not going to kick you out or give you a big F or anything like that. But it's pretty serious once you get into college. So you need a bibliography, and that is a page that shows what sources you used. So this is on page 155. From your binder. We took it out last week, so you should have it probably at the front of your binder, or work in process. And if you're handwriting this research paper, I think Paisley, you're like the only one that's so far that's typing it. And Bronx and Abby, I know sometimes you prefer handwriting, so it's up to you. I'd like to try to challenge you to type it this time. But if that's just too much stress, I don't want to add stress, so you don't have to. But here's what you would follow if you're handwriting it. Here's the different examples of the types of sources and how you write them out. So I don't think anybody has a book in this class. I think all of you pretty much have online sources. Is that right? Online sources. Okay. So if you have down here, here's an example of a website with no author listed. And then they don't have a website with authors, but it would be the same type of setup. So if you have an author, you would put the name of the author first, but most websites give articles and they don't really have an author reference there. So in quotes is the title of the article. So looking at your sources right now, make sure you have those with you. The title of the article is usually at the top, you know, when you print it. And then this one here, Arizona Sonora Desert Museum, 2017. This is the publisher of the article. So this is oftentimes found at the end of your article, or maybe somewhere in the beginning, either the beginning or the end. And basically it's where it came from. It could be Time magazine. It could be Britannica encyclopedia. It could be IMDb. Some of those have information about famous people. So it's whatever this is publisher or whatever the name of the site is. And then the year. And then, let me zoom in a little bit because I know this is kind of small. The actual URL, I forget what URL actually stands for. I don't even know really, but it's when you type it in Google and it pulls it up for you at the very top bar. It's usually got slashes and numbers and letters, and none of it makes sense. Some of them are capital and lowercase, but that is the address to your article. So that is what you would copy here. And notice it's under this. That's because it wouldn't fit here in the margin. So it depends on if it fits before you get to your line. This is, I'm talking about when you handwrite it. So if you're handwriting it, you don't want to go past your margin line on your lined paper. You'll put it down below. You don't ever want to break up a website address. So don't do half of it here and half of it underneath. You want to keep it all together. So if it's really long, just go down to the next line and notice it's indented. So it's backwards than when you're writing your paragraphs. You want to indent the first sentence, but here, the first part of your reference goes at the margin, and then under it, you'd indent. Okay, Abby?
Are we allowed to use those citation generator websites to help us with this?
Absolutely. Yes, you can. In fact, I do want to show you, especially if you use Google Docs, and everybody should have Google because you are in Google Classroom. So you have a Gmail account. So let me show you really quick. I have a million tabs open right now, so no judging, all right? Literally, because I got a lot of things going on right now. Okay, so my computer's in dark mode just because I like that, but you know, you get it. Here's the Google. When you type in, you just open up your browser, it takes you to Google. Up here, you know, you can tell if you're in your right account because you're, well, I have a little picture here, but a lot of times it's just an icon with your initial or whatever for your Gmail. And this part here, this waffle is what we call it on the upper right. That is where it opens up your apps for Google. You guys are you familiar with this right here? Okay, good, good. So then you'll scroll down and open up a Google Doc, which is like a Word document. If you click on that, you'll have, well, I have lots of options because I have lots of students sending me stuff, but you would go to the blank, start a new document, go to blank, just click on that, and there you go. It opens up a brand new blank sheet, just like it would for Microsoft Word. Ignore what it says here, type @ to insert. I don't know why it says that, just ignore that because it'll go away. Watch, as soon as I start typing, it just goes away. So I'm in all caps. All right. When you're working in Google Docs, there is a toolbar up here at the upper left. You see where it says tools. You can click on that. I'll go through this a couple of times with you, okay? And then if you go down to where, oops, go down under tools to citations. Now, in my class, we're not going to worry about citations within your research paper. We just don't have enough time to cover it. So that is when you take a direct quote from a source. Let's say you really like how it's written and you want to write it word for word. You would actually cite your source within your paper, and that protects you from plagiarism. So that's just a little advice there for future, but in my class, you don't have to worry about that yet. But you notice over here, when I clicked on citations, it opened up a sidebar here. And right here, it says MLA 8th edition. That's the latest edition. So MLA is the format that you're going to use. It defaults to that. So you don't have to worry about that. See how it says add citation source here. Click on that. Source type, it defaults to book, but you guys all have websites. So you're going to scroll down to website and click that. Now it opens up a bar and it says search with a URL. So I'm just going to stop share for a second and pull up an article. And I'll show you how to type in that URL. Well, I'll just do Kobe Bryant. Hopefully nobody used Wikipedia, because remember I told you that's not a good site to use. So let's see, I'm going to pull up. A couple of them just have stats. Oh, here we go. Encyclopedia Britannica. Perfect. Okay, let me go back to you guys. Share that. It has pop-ups. We just ignore those. So here's Britannica. We've got the article. That might be one of your sources. Is that one of them, Bronx? No? Okay, that's okay. But do you see, I got to move this bar out of the way here, but do you see at the very top right here, it says Britannica.com/biography/Kobe-Bryant. Normally it has more stuff to it, but that one's pretty simple. I'm going to right click is how I do it. There's a couple other ways to copy, but you're going to right click on your mouse, or if you're on a laptop, you double click with 2 fingers. You can click copy. And then I'm going to go back to my Google Doc here. Can you guys see my Google Doc right now? Okay. Over here where it says search with URL, this is where I'll paste it. And then click search. And here's the information that comes up. It does say that the published year is missing, and that's okay. You can still use it as a source, even if the publish date is missing. At the bottom of this sidebar right here, you click continue. And then you just kind of glance and double check that. And usually it's all there. There's more information you could add, but you don't have to. And here is the magical button, add citation source. Now, another magical button. Let's see what time we got. Oh, man. Insert works cited. Oh, it's a good thing I recorded this. If you want to go back and watch me go through these steps again, you can on the recording. Insert works cited, click that, and boom, there it is. Now, I don't know what this is. Remove sources not cited in the text from works cited. No, we're going to ignore that. They default to works cited. See how it says at the top of my document? I'm going to delete that and put in bibliography. But it actually populates it. It formulates it. It's like so golden. Like this is easy. And if you wanted to handwrite yours, Abby, and use this just to help you formulate it, you can, and then just copy it down. But here it is already done for you, all the information you need. Now, the bibliography should be alphabetized. by whatever word you have here first. So if it's an author, by their last name. So once you plug in all of your sources, you might have to move things around to make sure they're alphabetized. Okay. You guys only have 3 sources, so it shouldn't take you too long. But I do want you to include this bibliography page on your research paper when you turn it in. So you're going to write your 2 paragraphs using your keyword outlines, your fused outlines, and your checklist, and make a big bibliography page. I didn't have time to show you headers and footers and all that as far as page numbers, so don't worry about that. Just do your 2 paragraphs in your bibliography page, and that will suffice. Okay, do you guys have any questions about any of that we just went over? Okay, cool. So yeah, we already ran out of time, but and Bronx, good job getting ahead. That's kind of a little extra blessing. So just make sure you check all of your dress up words and everything, make sure they're all there, and then add your bibliography, and then you can just turn it in again this next week with those things, okay? All right, well, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been crazy. It's been wonderful. Maybe some of you might think horrible sometimes. Wonderful and horrible. Mostly wonderful though. I'm gonna miss you guys. I hopefully will do this again next fall. If you guys, I know I'm gonna be with you, Bronx, so you can't get rid of me that fast, but yes, but anyway, we're still having some time off for May, so that'll be kind of nice. You can just focus on your other subjects and move on with your life. All right, you guys, you have a good one. I'm going to stop recording now.